In due time they will, Joe, and that's the case in a lot of situations around the league. It's just hard to find solid quarterback play, and you're right. The Cowboys have been desperately looking for somebody now for 4 years, and Drew Henson told us the other day that the experience he got in last week's game against the Ravens, even though it was the last series of the game, really helped him in calming him down getting ready for this game.
In only his 9th start since high school, he hands to Julius Jones. He picked up 2.
But as Bill Parcells told us yesterday, they don't let you play third base unless you can throw the ball, and that's what he did as a baseball player, and obviously plenty of arm strength.
But you have to hit too, Chris.
Yeah,
you have to be able to hit the curveball, and that's why he's wearing number 7 for the Cowboys. It's not as if he had to make the decision. The decision was basically made for him as one guy after another passed him by in the Yankee farm system, and he never fulfilled the promise that they had for him. Julius into Chicago territory, a gain of 13. 6 for 6 for taking over for the injured Vinny Testaverde last week at Baltimore. Play action, and here is that first throw maybe. Henson lets it go, and he finds Quincy Morgan. And Morgan finds a first down and a gain of 13 yards.
You know, and talking about Drew Henson and what he does well, he really has great mobility. He moves very well, not only within the pocket, but also once he's able to get out on the perimeter. In fact, some of the coaches feel that he's a better passer on the move than what he is from within the pocket. So therefore, you come into this game, you want to run some bootlegs, you want to get him flushed out on some rollout type things. We see the accuracy that he has right there, putting it on Quincy Morgan.
To Julius Jones, and he is upended, picked up 2.
You know, it is remarkable, though, what one good run will do for a quarterback. And clearly the Dallas Cowboys quarterbacks over the last couple of years have been playing basically without a running game to speak of at all. You saw Julius Jones come out, break off the one run. They come with a bootleg right off of the same action, and all of a sudden you're wide open around the corner. And Andre Gerard, we saw him get his knee clipped on that run.
That was on the 14-yard run from Julius Jones. He took a knee to his left knee. And they hand off to Jones here. Julius Jones! Happy Thanksgiving, Jones family. Julius has a touchdown. Boy, Parcells rode him hard last year. On first down, handoff is to Thomas Jones, and so far so good for the defensive front for the Cowboys. Only a gain of 2. Cowboys have been waiting for Marcellus Wiley to make an impact, and he was in on that last stop.
Well, he hasn't made the impact on the pass rush, and when you look at the Cowboys, they really can't afford to help on either part of the defense. If they try and help with the pass rush, their secondary breaks down. If they try and help in the defensive backfield, their pass rush can't get there, and it's really been the story of this entire season for them defensively.
Second down and 8. Krenzel over the middle, finds a receiver, has a first down. It's Bobby Wade. And the first completion for Krenzel, good for 13 yards.
Good job of Krenzel just hanging in the pocket. He was telling us just the other day that every snap for him is still a new experience. Well, he looked pretty confident on this one. He spots Bobby Wade over the middle of the field, gets some time to throw, which is something he did not get a lot of last week against Indianapolis, and someone who's still trying to find his way as a 5th-round draft pick this season.
They toss it to Jones, and Thomas Jones picked up half a yard. Dan Wynn on the tackle.
How about Craig Krenzel? Molecular genetics. How many of his teammates you think he had in that class with him?
I think he was pretty much the only one showing up for that. Molecular genetics, and at some point later in his life, he hopes to turn what he learned at Ohio State into oncology research. He's a bright guy, able to pick up this offense quickly, and that's one of the reasons why they turned to him when Quinn wasn't good enough to move the ball. Second down and 9. Handoff is to Jones. Thomas Jones breaks through and gets a first down for Chicago. He gets 11.
I think we have a little sibling rivalry going on here.
Well, Chicago doing a good job. Terry Shea, their offensive coordinator, he brought this offense in from the Kansas City Chiefs, where he had been coaching under Dick Vermeil and Al Saunders. That time they spread the defense out. They go to 3 wide receivers, go to a bunch look, minimize the defenders in the box, and give them some lanes to run. Thomas Jones spotting it and getting up inside the running lanes.
On first down, Krenzel going to throw over the middle, and the pass incomplete. Looking for the flag is Bobby Wade, and he won't get it.
And there's going to be a lot of pressure on that young man right there, Lance Frazier. They have been through so many cornerbacks this season opposite of Terrence Newman. That time the Cowboys came out in their man-to-man defense, something that they've been burned repeatedly on this season. But Lance Frazier made the nice pivot and a good play.
Yeah, and Lance Frazier is actually a guy who they think can be a real contributor for this football team. He was released by the Ravens. When the Ravens signed Deion Sanders, they wanted to keep him, but they exposed him in the waivers, and the Cowboys picked him up, and now he's starting.
On second down, more play action. Looking to dump it off to the tight end, instead downfield and incomplete. Terrell, the intended receiver. You know, the story with the Bears, and we should say, is they came into the season with Rex Grossman as their starting quarterback. But because Rex blew out his knee, went on IR September 28th, they've gone through Jonathan Quinn. They've added Chad Hutchinson, who used to play for the Dallas Cowboys. And it's Krenzel, who's 3-1 as a starter, even though the Chicago offense is last in total yards, touchdown passes, yards per play, and first downs per game. Third down and 10. Three straight throws, 3 straight incompletions, and there is no penalty flag as again Wade was covered on the play. Serving our country at this time on 1st and 10. A toss to Julius Jones. Off to a fast start. Julius got 3. In case you're wondering, these are throwback uniforms. The Bears wearing uniforms from 1946 and the Cowboys from their 1962 team. A couple seasons after their first year in 1960.
The Bears sort of representing the era of World War II, and we'll remember all the veterans across the land here today, and just find them to be so remarkable. They do it so enthusiastically and so humbly.
Second down and 7. Henson hands off to Jones, who was hit first by Ogunleye, and no gain on the play. Let's look at the defense for the Chicago Bears. Defensive coordinator is Ron Rivera, who used to coach the linebackers in Philly. Up front, Tommy Harris. But he's talking about this rookie, might be the defensive rookie of the year. He has some competition there, and they miss Brian Urlacher. All Lovie Smith could do yesterday telling us about his team was talk about Urlacher, and he said, I keep talking about the guy we don't have. That's a bad sign.
With good reason.
Third down and 7. Blitz. And Henson lost it. Jones picks it up. And Julius Jones is brought down shy of first down yardage. Now they're going to say that Henson was in the act of throwing the ball. Hand off Julius Jones. First game back last week at Baltimore, carried it 30 times, and he's busy already today on Thanksgiving Day. Gain of 3 on that first down carry.
And I think he really gained some respect within this Cowboys organization to come back after that long layoff and run the football 30 times against the Baltimore Ravens tough defense led by Ray Lewis and company. It wasn't always pretty. He got pounded pretty hard. He never asked to come out of the game and made an impression on Bill Parcells.
Henson under pressure, goes down. And a sack for the Chicago defense. Ogunleye. He now has 4.5 on the season. He had 15 a year ago and led the AFC while with the Dolphins.
Well, we saw the hit earlier, and it's because Drew Henson did not see the 4-week. This time they bring Joe Odom off the front side again. They don't have enough people to pick that up. Right now, Lovie Smith and this defensive staff, they're saying we're going to bring one more guy that you can block, and Drew Henson has not seen that, and he's not been able to get the ball out of his hands.
And this is really totally out of character for a Bears team that doesn't blitz very much.
Third down and 12. Henson steps up. It's batted at the line, and the pass incomplete. Even though Briggs comes away with it, it bounced into his arm. 6 interceptions, 7 fumbles lost. And you see Mark Colombo take over at left tackle. Kasim Mitchell is out, and Colombo, the #1 pick from 2002, missed over 2 years with a dislocated kneecap. Came back last week. He's back in there now. And Thomas Jones got 1. In case you don't know how the Chicago Bears got to 4-6, they beat the Packers at Lambeau in week 2. But Rex Grossman was lost for the season in week 3. The Bears won 3 straight, but in that 3rd game against Tennessee, Brian Urlacher was injured. And last weekend, the Bears were absolutely torched by Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts, 41-10.
And they also lost Mike Brown following that victory at Lambeau Field.
2nd down and 9. And a handoff to Jones. Jones gets 1 more yard, and that brings up 3rd and long for Krenzel and the Chicago Bears.
Leroy Glover is just taking his man and driving him straight back in the backfield almost on every play. Watch Leroy right here. Just push his guy right back into the running back and force him to circle around. So Leroy Glover, before this day is up, he is going to get a full face full of right guard sitting in front of him.
Rex Tucker at right guard for Chicago, and this crowd gets into it. The worst team in the NFL this season on 3rd down. Krenzel drops it off. They set up a screen. One of the rare times the Bears make good on 3rd down. They pick up 11 on the screen play to Thomas Jones.
Yeah, and this time Dallas on 3rd down, they go with 3 down linemen and then 3 linebackers with 5 defensive backs. And the Bears come out on the screen. They get people out on front. Brady James not there to make a play. A missed tackle there by Dat Nguyen. And a big pickup for the Chicago Bears, who have not done well on 3rd downs, entering this game last in the National Football League on 3rd down. In fact, their percentages have been the worst in the last 20 years of the National Football League converting 3rd downs.
The hand on a reverse. That's Wade. And Bobby Wade trying to get to the corner is flattened by Brady James. Troy, I think a lot of people expected Brady James to maybe get some more playing time this season because he's one of those bigger-bodied linebackers that Bill Parcells has always loved.
Yeah, he's in the mold of the linebacker that Bill Parcells likes. In fact, they came into this season and he was challenging Dexter Coakley for the starting weak side linebacker position. Dexter Coakley, who had been a Pro Bowl player, held him off. But yet Brady James is getting significant playing time throughout the season.
2nd down and 9. Krenzel. Abagu is first there. No gain on the play. No sack for Eric Abagu, but Krenzel pulled that ball down awfully quick.
Well, and that's what happens when you start getting hit a lot. He's been hit a lot over the last few ball games, but nobody's getting open for him. This is one of the weak spots of this offense is the wide receiver group. It's not an overly talented group, not very fast. And so a lot of the times there's nowhere to go with the football, and it's happened on a regular basis. But Craig Krenzel, when nothing's there, he's either got to tuck it and run, or he's got to be able to unload it and avoid some of these sacks.
3rd down and 9. 5-man rush. The pass is off the hands of Bernard Berrien. And with under a minute to play, the legend of Troy. Keyshawn Johnson has his first catch of the day, and he's got a 1st down for Dallas. Why do they have posters like that with Aikman floating through the clouds and everybody still wearing Aikman jerseys? Since Troy left in 2000, these are the starts for the quarterbacks that have tried to replace him. Randall Cunningham, Carter, Wright, Clint Sterner got 2 starts. Ryan Leaf got 3 starts. Chad Hutchinson is now on the other sideline playing for Chicago. Vinny Testaverde 10 times this season. And Drew Henson is getting his first. Hand off to Julius Jones. And Julius is brought down at the 45-yard from the Chicago 40, 2nd down and 5. And a handoff to Julius Jones. Makes a nice move, has a 1st down, and he's down inside the 30. What a burst he provides at the running back spot for Dallas. Let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Well, hey, Joe, David Terrell, the wide receiver for the Chicago Bears, is feeling the frustration of the ineptness of the Bears offense. He went up and down the line kind of screaming at guys. He had to be calmed down by some of his coaches. In fact, some of the Cowboys fans here saw that he was a little frustrated and contributed to the situation by egging him on, and Terrell didn't disappoint. He looked around, he said some things back to him, gave him a wink, and things are getting a little testy down here, Joe. Back to you.
All right, Pam. Well, he's frustrated. So far, only 26 catches all year. Has not gotten into the end zone. They tossed to Jones running right, and that was well covered. The rookie Tommy Harris on the tackle for Chicago.
Yeah, Tommy Harris, their first-round pick, and they say he has far surpassed their expectations coming into this season. A great worker, has great work habits, extremely quick, explosive. He's from Killeen, Texas. He's got about 40 family and friends that are here at the ball game today, and in fact, his boyhood idol when he was growing up here in Texas was Larry Allen, and so he was looking forward to the challenge of going up against him here today in this game.
But today, after starting across from Andre Girard, who sprained his left knee, he's been taken to the dressing room. He's working on Tyson Walter as the pass is out of the reach of Terrence Copper, with pressure bearing down on Drew Henson. Now to bring up 3rd and 13.
You know, it's interesting, though, with Tommy Harris and his game a week ago saying he was not impressed with Peyton Manning and the Colts offense. I think probably a little more impressed after that game, a little humbled as well after the way that offense put on a display against the Bears.
I think they all got humbled a little bit. Tommy Harris coming into that game saying that they had the best defensive front in football. Lance Briggs saying that they guaranteed a victory against the Colts, and I think they all had a little humble pie.
Another blitz coming from Chicago, and that stones the run. Julius Jones on the carry, a loss of 1, and Lance Briggs, he's been coming time after time in this first half against this Dallas offensive wing. Commemorative football grabbed by Olin Kreutz, and away go the Chicago Bears. Krenzel drops it off out of the backfield. Making the catch is Anthony Thomas, and he is forced out of bounds with a first down. After that last possession, with all of these blitzes coming from the Chicago defense, Bill Parcells pulled Larry Allen over and tried to pick his brain a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's the softer, gentler, more kinder Bill Parcells, as he has said this year. Remember last year, it seemed like whenever they were having an interaction between those two, there was a lot of screaming going on.
8-time Pro Bowl selection, potential future Hall of Famer, as Thomas, who was so frustrated with not getting into the game a week ago, picks up one win on the tackle for Dallas.
And for Anthony Thomas, it has been a frustrating time because Thomas Jones has basically taken all of his carries, and Anthony Thomas really just a between the tackles type of runner, whereas Thomas Jones, a guy much more explosive, can get out on the edge, much better in the passing game, and obviously as you watch this Bears offense, they need all the big play capability they can get.
Second down and 9. Krenzel airs it out, burying the intended receiver, and he was beautifully covered by Lance Frazier. They were stride for stride. 3rd and 9.
Yeah, trying to get him down the field. Those 3 guys on the route that time. They try to protect it up, send 3 guys on the route, just straight verticals, and Varian Barnes had a chance right there, but the better throw. I mean, Lance Frazier, they're trying to work him over. We talked about him. He hasn't been starting all that long. It was a nice job covering him on that play.
Well, if Lance Frazier turns something into something on the other corner, it would really give this Cowboys defense a lift.
3rd down and 9. That looks like a busted play, and Krenzel goes down at the 45.
There's no question about it. When you don't even have time to make the handoff on a reverse.
And it's not played near to that level this season.
That's his 8th false start penalty, the most in the NFL. Flozell Adams. Julius Jones. Jones gets the 5 yards back, plus 2 more, a gain of 7, and Adams is a guy that when Parcells first got here said this guy could be one of the best offensive tackles ever to play the game.
Which was a surprise to a lot of people based on how Flozell Adams had played up to that point. But it was in a contract year. Bill Parcells took over as head coach, decided that they were going to pay him a lot of money and was going to turn him into a great player. Last year, in fact, that's what he was. But he has regressed this season.
Second down and 8. Henson throws deep. Morgan. Incomplete. It was the rookie Nathan Vasher.
Good time to throw there, and Nathan Vasher, a young rookie who has just been tremendous so far this season. 4 interceptions, 5 turnovers altogether. And when you talk to Lovie Smith, the one thing that he expects out of his corners is the ability to make plays down the field and get your hands on the football. And it's something that he hasn't been getting out of some of his other cornerbacks.
Well, I think what's encouraging for Chicago fans and even those within this organization is that this is a very young football team, defensively especially. R.W. McQuarters, only in his 7th season, is the oldest player on the team.
Here comes the blitz. Julius Jones, nothing. Gets it to the 15, that's it. Lost half a yard, and it's time for Dallas to punt again.
Well, you can't call a play any better than that. They're going to blitz to the strong side. You have a screen coming back to the weak side.
Offense. Krenzel, the short, safe pass to Anthony Thomas. And Thomas is brought down after a gain of 9 by Dexter Coakley.
You know, this was a Chicago offense that came into this season really expecting to be able to do a lot of things. We talked about Rex Grossman going down early in the season, but this offensive line they really felt was going to be a very solid group for them. We talked about Mark Colombo coming back. He basically had been out of football for the last 2 years because of injury. Rex Tucker missed all of last season and pretty much all of 2002. And so slowly they're putting the pieces back together. Olin Kreutz at center. They've got some good players if they can remain healthy.
Thomas on second down and 1. Gets it back to the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 1 coming up.
Well, they really tried to build this after the Kansas City Chiefs model. Of course,
from the hard-hitting 23rd ranked defense in the NFL. Lance Briggs as Jones carries it forward for 7 yards.
Yeah, Lance Briggs last week guaranteeing the win over the Colts. They had a lot of things to say about the Colts that I don't think they were feeling at the end of that ball game. And well, you watch Peyton Manning today. What a show. 6 more touchdown passes, and poor Dan Marino. It's just a matter of when now.
But I think, guys, the other side of that is that their defense seems to be getting better week to week. And I know they haven't played powerhouses every week, including the Chicago team. But if they can get any sort of momentum going defensively, watch out as Jones carries it for 6 and a Dallas first down.
That's a great point, Joe. Defensive play with their system. All he's done is just the scout team, so there's no way he could possibly play out here today.
On second down and 2, Henson rolls right, fires, and the pass was behind Keyshawn Johnson with McQuarters coming up to break it up.
Although Chad Hutchinson did play within the system with Dallas, and there are some variations of it, no question, but you know, as far as them being able to put something together that could allow him to go out and be productive offensively and execute the offense, I think that they could do that, and I think they plan on doing that here over the last 4 games of the year.
Yeah, I do too. I think they're definitely going to have to wait and see. But Lovie Smith, if he made a mistake this offseason, it just wasn't securing up the backup quarterback position, a mistake that he definitely will not make next season. He is going to go into next season with 2 full-fledged starters on his roster.
On 3rd down and 2, Henson. That's picked off. McQuarters back the other way, and R.W. McQuarters with Henson in his way is able to get in for the touchdown. Henson throws the interception, and McQuarters was there to return it for 6.
You know, that's what happens, Joe, when you're a young quarterback and you don't have that much NFL experience. The relationships between receivers and defensive backs are somewhat cloudy. In college, you can make those throws. The balls get on the receiver before the defender reacts. That ball is a little bit late, a little bit behind, and as a result, R.W. McQuarters jumps it, and he's able to take it all the way.
That's really just inexcusable on the part of Drew Henson.
Would like to be when you've got a running back back there that's able to create some kind of yards and keep you in positive situations on downs.
Second down and 10. Henson fires, and that was an impressive throw. Terrence Copper, who has really impressed Bill Parcells. This is a free agent from Eastern Carolina, and he has worked his way into the offensive rotation at wide receiver because of the effort he's put in on special teams. And he can do a lot. He's really added something to this Dallas club.
Well, he had a great game last week. He had 3 catches, not necessarily easy catches either. Pretty acrobatic catches. And then he also, in addition to that, he had 3 special teams tackles. So he's a Bill Parcells type of player in that he contributes offensively, he contributes on special teams, and he's a tough kid.
3rd down and 1. They hand to Jones, and Julius Jones is going to be brought down shy of first down yardage, no gain.
And that's where the Dallas Cowboys have really had some problems. In 3rd down and 4th down and short yardage situations.
And St. Louis and the New York Giants lose, they would just be a game out of the playoff hunt. I know it sounds ridiculous, but they're all possibilities.
Thomas Jones crosses the 20 by a couple of inches, and Jonathan Quinn, who was picked up from the Kansas City Chiefs, is now back in at quarterback. Quinn had a 63.1 quarterback rating, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and if they could point to anything he did well when he got a chance to play, is he did not, for the most part, turn the ball over.
Yeah, basically they said it's the only thing that he did well, because they just did not have any kind of production moving the football while he was in the lineup.
2nd down and 7. That's tipped and still nearly completed to Wade. Terrence Newman was out there defending for Dallas. It's 3rd and 7.
This time they get Roy Williams down in the box. This is where he's most effective, and he's not had a chance to play in this position much this year. But he is on the blitz, and Jones does a good job of picking him up.
And then gets a little face mask at the end when nobody was watching. 3rd down and 7.
The one strength of Jonathan Quinn has been he does not turn the football over. Can't take many chances right here in this situation with the way this game's going.
3rd down and 7, another blitz, and the pass well short, may have been tipped. David Terrell, the intended receiver, division title. Henson hands it to Julius Jones, and he is met in the backfield. Lost a yard. First one there, Michael Haynes.
And they are now coming after the running game of the Dallas Cowboys, essentially daring Bill Parcells to throw the football, especially on 1st down, as they go for the penetration. The linebackers are all moving forward. We saw them last week against the Indianapolis Colts when they tried to do that, tried to come up and make plays against Edgerrin James. Peyton Manning burned them in behind their linebacker coverage, and this time around there's not that same threat.
Right now each side has an offense that's just pulled everything in. They don't want to make that critical mistake like Henson did on the interception of McQuarters, and they stay with a little end-around toss to Copper, and he goes nowhere. Michael Haynes, who made the play on that last run by Jones, is out there. The defender when he came to the Cowboys.
Yeah, well, you know what happened to Clint Longley the following year at training camp? He sucker punched Staubach, and we never heard from him again.
No, that's not
Roger loves telling that story.
Over the middle, that pass is batted back into the arms of Thomas Jones. Off his hands, into Coakley's hands, off his body, and back into Jones for a 17-yard play.
I think that ought to count as 3 completions right there. 1, 2, and 3. Pretty good job by Jones, and Coakley, I don't think can believe he missed it.
Just how Terry Shea drew it up, as this pass is too high and a dangerous pass to Wade.
Yeah, you can say that again. Nate Jones in a position right there to undercut it. Similar to what happened to Drew Henson on the other end. Nate Jones could have come underneath that one and taken it in for the house.
Would that have been okay?
Are you two going to be all right? It's Thanksgiving. 2nd down and 10. Quinn hands off Thomas Jones. Right now, at least in this first half, we'll call Thomas Jones Julius's older brother.
What Craig Krenzel had coming in playing as a rookie.
And I think you have to be a little aggressive here just because the clock's on your side.
3rd down and 9, the pass complete. That's David Terrell, and he's got a 1st down inside the 40.
Even if you throw an interception in that situation, there's very little time left on the clock. Now the Bears have a shot at least getting a field goal here in this one, and that may be enough the way this game's going.
On first down. Quinn is sacked. Greg Ellis. Obangu got there first.
Back to you.
You hear the crowd reaction, and to me, that's for Vinny Testaverde being a quarterback. They've seen this. You know, they know what Vinny Testaverde is going to do. This is a guy who's 41 years old in his 18th year. He's kind of a stopgap guy. You're 3-7. You've got Drew Henson, who you made the deal to get from the Houston Texans. And now you're back to square one, as you said, Troy. And on Henson's part, what does he take away from this? I mean, he gets a half to prove what he can do, and now he's back on the bench.
Yeah, in some ways, you could argue that you could lose a kid by pulling him out at halftime in a game that, yeah, he struggled, but he didn't play that poorly.
Keyshawn Johnson on the reception. I mean, you could say that you lose Henson easier by pulling him out of the game than you would if he just stayed in there and tried to work some things out and got pounded by this Bears defense.
Yeah, and I think right now, as far as the reaction to Vinny Testaverde, the fans don't think that Vinny Testaverde is responsible for why this team is 3-7. But at the same time, around the National Football League, fans want to be optimistic. They want to be optimistic in Chicago. They want to be optimistic here in Dallas. And when you're struggling and having a down year, you want to feel like there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and they think that maybe that's provided by Drew Henson.
Julius Jones goes nowhere, and with Testaverde, it's 3 and out.
And the boo bird
for the injured Craig Krenzel. Thomas Jones gets it. Gets away from Marcellus Wiley, and eventually Marcellus gets back on top of him, but not before Jones gets 5. You wonder, and I know we're going back and talking about the Dallas offense, you wonder what the reaction was, honest reaction was, from Jerry Jones when he saw Vinny Testaverde come back in to start the third quarter at quarterback, and Drew Henson sitting on the bench. I mean, in essence, you wonder if the Cowboys have done it again. As Jones changes his direction, bounces it outside, and tiptoes along the sideline, a yard and a half shy of the first down yardage. And I say that, Chris, because of the Hutchinson experiment with a guy who was away from the game playing baseball, and now they've tried to do it with Henson.
Well, the only thing else that I can really think of is at some point you have to stop the bleeding for the Dallas Cowboys and try to get this thing turned back in the right direction. So even if they can get on a little mini roll at the end of the season and not necessarily make it into the playoffs, but they have to get this thing turned around, and I'm sure Bill Parcells has that in his mind.
3rd down and 2. Handoff is to Jones, and Jones did not get enough. He got about maybe a yard, and he's going to be shy of first down.
Towards Bill Parcells right now than Vinny Testaverde, who's sucking it up and trying to play with a pretty tough injury.
On 2nd down and 10, Julius Jones is tripped up in the backfield by Mike Green.
And we should say that while these offenses are clearly struggling, this Bears defense has bounced back, as has the Dallas Cowboys defense. But it's just hard to think that the defenses are playing all that great when we see the offenses struggling like this. The Bears gave up 40-something to the Colts a week ago. The Cowboys have struggled defensively all season long, but at least defensively they are coming after the Cowboys and making plays.
3rd down and 11. Testaverde steps up and fires, and the pass is caught by Keyshawn Johnson for a first down.
And a really nice job, Joe, by Julius Jones picking up the blitz. Jerry Azuma is going to be coming off the edge, and watch Julius Jones as he steps up. He recognizes it, and he doesn't wait for him either. He goes and he attacks him. That's what you want to see from a running back, particularly a rookie running back. You rarely do see that. That's the area that they struggle in. And then Keyshawn Johnson being able to keep his feet in bounds on the sideline reception.
I'll tell you, that was a lot of velocity on that ball for somebody who's hurting. Zipped that one pretty good.
From their own 30, Jones. Julius ahead to the 33, gain of 3.
And I think the other thing now with Vinny Testaverde, and the Bears probably aren't quite as anxious to bring the blitzes and do all the things that they were doing earlier in the game with Drew Henson, just because you would assume that Testaverde is going to recognize some of those different schemes.
2nd down and 7.
Read it.
blitz there, and the pass is complete to Keyshawn Johnson. Great effort, and Johnson is able to put the ball ahead of the 40-yard line for a first down.
You know, you talk about the Chicago defense and what Lovie Smith is trying to build here. Of course, he's doing it in the mold of the Tampa Bay defense that he was so much a part of for so many years there with Tony Dungy. And excuse me, they've really done a good job as far as drafting players and getting these young guys on the field. Nathan Vasher there, he's the one who's able to make the tackle. The Cowboys pick up a first down, but Tommy Harris along the defensive line and Tank Johnson, and just a young group of players that should be around for a long time. And as they grow and they continually get more experience within this offense, they're going to be that much better. They've already been a good defensive football team, but they're even going to get that much better as the years go along.
That was a shot of Mike Brown on IR with Achilles injury. Testaverde airs it out for Copper, and the pass is picked off. The second of the day by R.W. McQuarters. And McQuarters with another big return. He already has one touchdown inside the 30 and still going, lost the football. It looked like Chicago got back on top of it. If Dallas gets back on top of it, they start fresh with a new possession and a first down. 7-7 score. Quinn down the middle of the field, and the pass is caught by Terrell. And David Terrell is down to the 36.
Well, if you're going to have success throwing the football, first down is the best down. That time they caught the Cowboys in a very soft coverage. They didn't get the pass rush they did. Maybe caught them a little off guard with that first down pass. Nice big opening. Good completion to get them started.
Yeah, and David Terrell, who has not been as productive over his career as they would have liked when they drafted him out of Michigan, but coming off of his best game of the season last week against Indianapolis.
Used to hook up with Henson at Michigan. Screen pass incomplete. Thomas Jones was the intended receiver, and there was nothing there even had Jones come down with it. Our officials today, and Chris will check mark. What is that? Gary Slaughter and Bill Levy and Richard Hall and Phil Luckett and Charles Stewart, Don Carlson, Gary Cavaletto, Jim Blackwood. We had a chance to join them for dinner last night, and they're here working on Thanksgiving.
And Gary Slaughter's son, Sergeant Brent Slaughter, wanted me to make sure that I said hello to the 2nd Force Recon Company, 8th Platoon. He's doing much better, still walking with a cane, but we're awfully proud of him and all of you.
Quinn had Terrell wide open and overthrew him. As Jonathan Quinn had some time as he dropped back. It's incomplete. 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Yeah, Jonathan Quinn finally had some time to throw the ball, and David Terrell, he goes up the field in the cover 2. Jonathan Quinn thought that he was going to stay on the move. Instead, David Terrell hooked up in the zone. Just a miscommunication between those two.
So important now. They need about 5 or 6 yards for a legitimate shot at a field goal. Don't necessarily need the first down, but a short gain to give them a chance.
They're right at the edge of field goal range right now. And so they hand off Thomas Jones.
Good play.
That is a good play. It gets it down to the 30-yard line. And instead of a 52, 53-yard field goal, you're looking at roughly a 48-yard try from Edinger. Under 5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Testaverde hangs in over the middle, finds Witten, his first catch of the day. He has been their offensive bright spot. Jason Witten, the tight end, who leads this team in receptions.
Yeah, Jason Witten, he lines up in the slot and he runs the square, and they got pretty good coverage on him, but Vinny Testaverde, with good protection, was able to hold on to the ball long enough to allow Witten to come out the other side. And one of the better plays that we've seen so far from this Cowboys offense.
And Jason Witten's really turned into a player, hasn't he? He actually has as much production as the entire wide receiving core of the Cowboys lately.
Testaverde looked left, pulled it back, and now will flip it for Witten. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10. Well, at some point during the course of the day, I guess by the end of the show, we're going to have to hand out Our third annual Galloping Gobbler Award.
Yeah, and I don't know that somebody has to get it, but if they do, I would say that it's safe to say that there's a lot of guys still in the running.
Oh, yeah. Including the referees, the halftime entertainment, everybody. I don't think that thing looks anything like me, though. Yeah, everybody.
No, it's your bobblehead doll. That's what Emmett said.
It's the long metallic crane-like neck, Chris, that Emmett Smith referred to the first year we gave this thing out here in Dallas.
Can you believe what Emmett did, though? As soon as he got the award, he threw it away.
Just not right.
I mean, that's not right at all.
I mean, you hand a guy an award and he just tosses it away.
Especially one that nice.
But let's think of the awards that Emmett's received.
Oh, big deal. A couple MVPs, things like that.
Well, that's my point. This should have been right there at the top.
Yeah, yeah.
Rushing champion,
big time.
Gobbler winner.
But our cameras caught the incident after we handed Emmett the award, and after stopping laughing, Emmett wondered if Chris Collinsworth had his own bobblehead doll. And we'll show you what happened next. On third down, Testaverde sacked. And that's Haynes who ends up on top of Vinny Testaverde as Michael gets his second of the year.
And I think it's Flozell Adams that gets burned on this one as well. Michael Haynes going to come back underneath this time. That's the old pick tough. Howie Long will be proud of me on
And we had it available the next year to give to Dre Bly.
I say we give it to Pack.
Why not? Some of the finest acting on Fox in a while. Thomas Jones carries it, gets 3.
Was that a reality show? Pretty hot here at the end.
Uncle Sam with great hips on second down and 7. Screen pass for Johnson, the fullback. First time he's touched the ball. And he lost 2. Al Singleton came up to make the stop for Dallas.
Well, and what we're seeing so much of offensively, really by both teams, but in particular on Chicago, is, because of the changes that have been made with personnel and the various guys coming in and out of the lineup, particularly at quarterback, they've just gotten very, very vanilla. I mean, they've had to scale everything.
7-7 game with 15 minutes to go. Testaverde fires, and it's Keyshawn Johnson with a first down inside Chicago territory. A gain of 10 yards, and they'll mark the ball at the 47.
And the Bears are really rolling up their coverage now. They're coming up to play the run, just leaving one-on-one coverage on the outside. And for Keyshawn Johnson, it's really not much of a challenge as the defensive backs play way off. I'm surprised the Bears defensive backs aren't coming up and challenging these receivers a little bit more, because they've already seen that Vinny's going to have a tough time throwing the ball past them going deep.
On first down, it's Julius Jones. Big game for Julius Jones. First down and more, out of bounds at the 30.
And this is the element of Julius Jones that Eddie George just could not provide. And if you take a look at Flozell Adams on the end, he's able to get around and seal the corner, which is what gives Julius Jones the chance to get out on the edge in the perimeter. And that's the speed and the quickness that he gives them, and that's what they've been lacking all season long.
So Jones picks up 18 more. 118 yards on the day. He has the only Dallas touchdown, the first of his career. And on first down, he gets it again. Julius Jones gets 7. His day continues. He's been busy, and he's made the most of his chances this afternoon. Big Stone Gap, Virginia, where when he was a freshman at one point in high school, he was blocking for his bigger brother Thomas, and now the ball comes out.
Wow.
Keyshawn Johnson, it looked like, was there to pile back on top of it for Dallas.
Right where he left off last week.
First down for Dallas. Testaverde fires, and he's got Keyshawn Johnson. He's been his favorite target since taking over in this second half, and it's first and goal for Dallas.
And that really is where Keyshawn Johnson is pretty dangerous and effective as a wide receiver. He's such a big body, that once he gets inside leverage on a defensive back, he typically is able to use his body to shield the defender and make the reception. Of course, Vinny Testaverde putting that ball in a great location to where the defender could not get a hand on it.
And anything else you want to say about Keyshawn? He is a competitor. He does make plays in the clutch, and he does give you 100% all the time.
On first and goal, it's Julius Jones. And just to follow your point, Troy, a lot of people were surprised when the Dallas Cowboys skipped Steven Jackson with regard to Julius Jones, and you wonder, he's not as big as Steven Jackson. Is Jones the kind of guy that can pound the ball carry after carry for 16 games like Bill Parcells likes to have?
Yeah, and one of those things that because the Cowboys had an opportunity for Steven Jackson and passed on him for Julius Jones, those comparisons are going to be inevitable, and they're going to last throughout both of these players' careers.
Second down and goal for the Cowboys. Play action. Out of the backfield, the catch. For the touchdown, it's Darian Barnes. Good for helping us with our military salutes during this Thanksgiving Day broadcast. 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Crowd trying to get into it. Quinn fires, and it's Newman on the interception. He was looking for Terrell, and Terrence Newman gets his second pick of the season. Into Chicago territory.
Absolutely. Take a bow, Terrence Newman. You could not have played that one any better. Hands off a great souvenir. Terrence Newman is just going to play bump and run, jam the receiver, get him to the outside, turn his head around, and find the football. That's the kind of play they've been expecting since they made Terrence Newman the number 5 pick overall in the draft this season ago. Just perfectly played.
Now, Chris, I'd tell you that that one's inexcusable from a quarterback's point of view. Trying to throw a fade route into a rolled corner with safety help. He had no chance of fitting that ball in. I don't know what Jonathan Quinn was thinking.
Well, we're finding common ground here, brother. Happy Thanksgiving.
Blitz coming from Chicago is Testaverde. Throws it away and got it beyond the line of scrimmage, so no grounding. You know what the Bears have proven this season is you can't anymore go into a year without a proven backup quarterback. And that's why with a guy like Kurt Warner, who's now on the bench watching Eli Manning play with the Giants, there's going to be a market for Kurt Warner. You think they wouldn't love to have Warner on this Bears team? I mean, if you had a more proven backup that could move the ball a little bit with the way the Bears are playing, they're a borderline playoff team with the current state of the NFC right now.
They thought they had that with Jonathan Quinn. As far as Kurt Warner goes, it's a matter of whether or not he wants to go somewhere and be a backup, because clearly he wants to go start.
On second down and 10, over the middle, that pass is caught by Copper. You can see why the Cowboys love Copper, and they're marking him down just inside the 30.
Tell you what makes that even more impressive is the fact that it's over the middle, where typically as soon as you catch it, somebody's going to rack your head. But every once in a while you find somebody special, and for Bill Parcells, there's nothing that he loves more than free agents that come out of nowhere, earn their way onto the roster because of their team and special teams plays, and then find a niche role in this offense. A couple of weeks in a row now, he's been awfully special.
10 minutes to play. Dallas moving the ball again. Julius Jones. First down Cowboys inside the 20 to the 16.
Well, that's the strength of this offensive line, running behind the left side with Flozell Adams and Larry Allen, and that's what they do. They've got Jason Witten in the backfield leading the way. Flozell Adams driving his man 8 yards off the ball, Keyshawn Johnson, and then you get Julius Jones in behind that. And the one thing you see from really great backs is that games go along, they get stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's still obviously very early in Julius Jones's career, but that's what we're witnessing here today.
Jones gets it again. Down to the 14-yard line, a gain of 2.
You know, Joe, you just have to wonder if this Bears defense is not physically exhausted, but emotionally exhausted. Watching the Bears offense week after week, they come out and throw an interception on first down. The ball is constantly on their side of the field. and you can only hold up for so long. I've been on teams that have struggled offensively, and sometimes you come off the field and you can barely look those defensive guys in the eyes.
2nd down and 8. Testaverde fires. Morgan makes a tough catch. And he's got a Dallas 1st down inside the 5.
Well, that's a heck of a catch by Quincy Morgan. The defensive back had an angle on it and was driving hard, trying to come underneath the play. As you're going to see, he's trying to undercut it right there, but Quincy Morgan able to go up and pull that one in. Nice job, Nate Vasher, on the defense.
What a great half these receivers for the Cowboys are having. We're seeing Keyshawn Johnson with the fumble recovery, a couple of big catches. Copper making some great plays. Now Quincy Morgan, they really backed up their quarterback.
On 1st and goal, they toss it. Jones trying to get to the edge, and he can't. Filling, making a hit was R.W. McQuarters.
And R.W. McQuarters, and talking to Lovie Smith, in this style of defense, you really need corners that will come up and tackle. That's what they had in Tampa Bay. That's what he wants here in Chicago. R.W. McQuarters is more of a cover guy. He's not typically a great tackler, but he sure comes in here on this play and makes a big hit on Julius Jones to keep him from getting into the end zone.
And Jones was a little groggy after that play, but he has made it very clear he is never raising his hands around Bill Parcells to ask out of another game the rest of his life.
6 tackles and 2 interceptions today for R.W. McQuarters. Jones, his 2nd of the day.
Kitchen. Roy's mom, Kelly's mom, and Beyonce's mom, Tina Knowles, and it looks like they're going to have a bunch to celebrate, Joe.
I'll say, as they've gone up by 14 points, Wade on the reception, and that'll bring up 3rd and long on the completion from Jonathan Quinn.
You know, I like that. Roy's people talk to her people, and then their people get involved, and
then they all talk to Pam.
That's when you've arrived, is when you got people. I don't have any people yet.
Well, yeah, you do. You've got one very important person, and that's Rhonda, who right now
well, that's not your people. That's your wife.
On 3rd down and long, Quinn goes down again.
I can't wait to watch you explain the difference of that tonight as you get
thanks,
eating the turkey.
You put me in that he's been upset that he hasn't gotten more carries, and now that Julius Jones is healthy and running the way that he is, his carries are going to go down even more.
On 1st and 20, Eddie George goes nowhere. Met in the backfield, Joe Odom, strong side linebacker, along with Hillenmeyer for Chicago. More of our crew. Dave and John and Scope.
Ready? Here it goes.
And happy Thanksgiving, everyone. This is Richie Zients right here, the producer. Not Willis Reed.
Who never turns around.
No, never turns around. That's my job.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, Dad.
Come on, Richie, get control of that.
How come Artie always feels the need to narrate everything?
Everything. We'll be back on him right after this play.
I can't believe he just gave that suggestion. 2nd down and 21, Eddie George.
He's on that guy.
Picked up 2. Todd Johnson on the tackle.
Yeah, you talked about that.
Is starting to drop farther and farther.
Yeah, but you can still position those 2 first-round picks and move up pretty high in the draft.
Off the hands of Bernard Berrien.
Let me ask you this question, though. If you're Bill Parcells, and you're probably not going to coach much beyond his contract, maybe 2-3 years, I don't know. Are you really willing to go out and draft a rookie, the #1 pick, as a quarterback, and try and build that into something? Or are you more inclined to try and find a veteran free agent out there, despite the fact that hasn't worked out very well? I just wonder if he's willing to go through that, start from scratch with a quarterback with a draft choice again.
2nd down and 5 here, and it's dropped off to Jones, and Thomas has a Chicago 1st down.
Well, and I could tell you that in that situation, if in fact there was a quarterback out there that they viewed as a franchise quarterback and they could position those 2 first-round picks to move up to get him, that would be Jerry Jones's call. And he is the guy who knows he's going to be here long term. And he definitely has an interest Jerry Jones is one of the most optimistic people within this organization, and yes, he wants to win now, but he definitely has his eye on the future as well.
Well, the other thing is, with the new television money coming in, you can just about spend as much as you want in some of these next negotiating periods with free agents. So if Jerry Jones decides to really go out and load up, you could really load up and spend now and pay for it later.
As we approach the 2-minute warning, the Bears, with the Cowboys laying back, able to move the ball for the first time all day. Terrell is overthrown, and he was bracketed by Williams and Frazier. They're at Detroit. They host Green Bay. They defeated Green Bay in week 2, but that was a different looking team with Grossman and Urlacher, Brown and others. Berrien on the reception. He is into Dallas territory. 7 left. 4th down and 12 for the Bears. Down by 14 points. No timeouts left. Quinn fires, and the pass picked off by Dat Wynn, and he slides down to, in effect, end this day with a ball at the Dallas 29. There's another turnover, and Dat Wynn gets his 2nd interception of the season.
Well, you're going to take a look at it. Dat Wynn, just playing in a prevent defense, is able to drop back and get underneath that pass. And if you're Jonathan Quinn, you've got to try to get some yardage down the field, so you start forcing some throws. And those are the things that happen when you're down 14 points with under 2 minutes to play.
A couple of kneel downs, and then goodbye. 1:40 to go. No timeouts left for Chicago, and R.W. McQuarters gets into it with Darian Barnes. Don Cornelli, who works about as hard as anybody on any field during the course of any given Sunday running around.
He agrees.
Carrying that heavy camera. We say happy Thanksgiving and thanks for the great work today and all year long to Don.
You know, Joe, we talk about what's going on with the Cowboys and where they're headed, and certainly the Chicago Bears. I've got to believe that Lovie Smith overall has got to feel good about his football team when you consider how young this team is on both sides of the ball. They've drafted very well. I know this is a very discouraging loss for him here today, but he fully understands why that is and some of the things that they have to address. But I think Lovie Smith is an exceptional football coach, and I think that'll bear itself out here over the next several years.
Bill Parcells didn't see enough in the first half from Drew Henson to stay with him. He called on Testaverde, who moved this team well after a couple of possessions, and that's no surprise. He's been at the controls all year long, and Henson will have to wait for another day to try to knock that baseball rust off and get his feet underneath him as a quarterback in the NFL.
But he is 1-0 as a starter.
He is. He gets the victory.